Hello, good evening. Today I'm going to continue with my latest update, which is I implement the yam rotation, yam crop rotation. So there are a few resources that I introduce here, which is the Ubi Badak, Ubi Gadong, and also Keladi. Technically, Ubi Badak in English is a greater yam, and also for Gadong we known as a intoxicating yam, and Keladi we known as a white taro. So if you see in this map, right, we have the violet square over here. The violet square is actually the greater yam, Ubi Badak, and also the dark red square over here is actually intoxicating yam, Ubi Gadong. And lastly, we introduce white taro in the swamp. And due to this, I do add some kind of a bit of complication when you enter deep forest, either in the deep forest or in the swamp, which is whenever they enter the deep forest or the swamp, they technically going to walk much more slower, because it's not easy actually in real life to walk into a deep forest in Malaysia. So let's get started. I'm going to place the drying mat over here and fire cam over here. And lastly, I introduce you a new kind of buildings, the chopping block. What this chopping block gonna do is that when you dig massive ubi yam, massive yam, like ubi badak or ubi gadong, they're going to bring the food into this chopping block, and then the AI going to cut it off into 5 pieces, so that it's much more easier to eat and it much more easier to carry. Let's continue. I'm going to make the AI to dig ubi badak first, and then another AI going to do to pick up wet leaf and twigs. And we continue. I speed up the game a bit and slowing down back. So you see, it automatically carry all the ubi badak into the chopping block. Why it has 3, technically is very massive. I think in the real world around 10 kg to 15 kg if not mistaken. So the way in this game work is that once they take the yam, they're going to chop off into 3 pieces first before it bring to the chopping block. Because if you remember, the AI actually can just carry around 5 kg maximum for now. So due to this, after they carry the yam into the chopping block, I'm going to press P to prep the food so that it will it will slice the grated yam into smaller pieces. You see, once they cut everything, they're going to carry back into the campfire. In this campfire, I introduced the stockpile. You cannot see it, it's just a code in the background where it will keep all the ration into their own slots, so that later on they can just pick up and eat. After they done the work of chopping the grated yam, I'm going to chop down the tree so that tonight they not gonna freeze. Right now it's at 2 p.m. I'm hoping that they manage to cut down the whole tree that we instruct earlier. If not, we're not able to light up. Great. At least we have 6 woods. It's going to be a good night. I'm going to ignite the campfire and just speed up the game so that we can continue. As you can see in my log over here, there's no complaint like someone hungry and then asking for a food, or the AI try to consume infinitely for the badak ration over here, because I already adjust the code so that when it is in the night, their hunger is much more slower, because you technically doesn't work at night, so they don't consume a lot of stamina than usual. So it almost in the morning, almost down, so we're going to chop down a lot of tree. Because if I don't chop the tree right, they're going to walk very slow in the forest. I don't want that. I'm going to consume a lot of time. So when they're hungry, they're going straight away to the campfire and take whatever food they have. I'm not introducing the light backpack yet, meaning they bring the food with them whenever they do the job, but it is something that worth to implement later on. So it's already 10 a.m. We still have a lot of time. I'm going to make them work to dig the Ubi Gadong, the Intoxicating Yam. And someone just free, so we ask them to chop more tree. So when they dig the yam, technically they are very tired. Whenever they dig the food, they're going to rest a bit before continue whatever job that we have assigned. That's how my game design is. And they deliver to the chopping block. This is great because we can instruct to process the food so that tomorrow morning we can soak the yam into the river, so we can watch the toxicity of the food. Because in real life you cannot just go and eat the ubi gadong, because you're definitely gonna die doing that. So what we're going to do is that we wash the food after we cut them into a very thin slice. And for that moment, I introduced you into a new utilities, which is the river net. Technically, in the future game, maybe we need to actually craft this net, but this is a proof of concept, so I'm just going to place the net over here. We continue and we speed up because there's nothing to do anyway. Yep. Okay, now they take all the sliced ubi gadong and put into the river net. And another one, I want them to actually chop down the tree so that later on we can dig the greater yam. we need a lot of ration before we can go dive into the swamp area. And also in my games, right, technically what they going to do is that after they walk, they actually need some time to wash the food. I think around 2 days. After 2 days, only then it is safe for them to eat. So someone is just free and going to instruct into digging the greater yam again, the safest food in the jungle. So the AI actually is not refined that much yet, because the algorithm is quite difficult. I think I want to see it after we implement the path finding AI later on. Path finding library later on. Now they are free. I'm going to make them process the food. We don't have to worry about woods for now. 6 p.m. Okay. They managed to chop down the whole food. So tomorrow we are going to restock the badak ration, and we're going to instruct them to cut down few more trees before we make them travel across the land to pick up the white taro. And we're going to speed up the game a bit. So how long I managed to survive in this game? I think last time I tried around 11 days, 12 days. About few hours ago, I tested. Now it slowed down a bit. I don't want to miss anything. It's 10 a.m. so we can instruct them to dig wild taro. They're gonna make it. And you're going to see that whenever they enter the swamp right here, they're going to slow down a bit. And then you see, I think okay, they are hungry. That is one of the design that I need to make it better later on, which is they can just carry their food whenever they want to start working later on. Unlike Ubi Badak and also Ubi Gadong, they don't need to chop the keladi. Instead, they're going to roast the keladi itself. I mean, if you don't roast the keladi, and if you read it, technically it's not safe. It's very toxic. I think mildly toxic. Going to make you poop or something like that. So if you truly made it in real life, please do not eat directly like that. At least try to cook it. And as you can see over here, the curry already been cooked, so they can safely eat the food. But we have to wait another day because we're going to wait for the Ubi Gadong to be washed out and clearly safe to eat. So while waiting for the food, we're going to ask them to chop more tree. We don't want to run out our food. Yep, they finally managed to the Ubi Gadong finally managed to be clear out their toxicity. So now time to pick up from the net and deliver it into our stockpile. So you see it bring out the 5 safe Ubi Gadong. So now they have a lot of foods and a lot of varieties. And that's it for my demonstration today. I'm going to close the game. So this is the ticket, the root crop ecosystem, Ubi and Keladi. So like I mentioned earlier, I implement the Ubi Gadong, Ubi Badak, and also Keladi. And technically, this is the longest ticket I ever worked. And I think I make some kind of wrong calculation, meaning this whole ticket supposedly to be the whole milestone, but maybe because I don't know the exact logical complexity causing me to just solve it in one ticket. It takes me more than 10 hours to actually develop the entire logic of this game for this particular ticket, and I need to be careful in the future. And technically, when I forgot to mention that in the Keladi, whenever you try to harvest Keladi, right, technically it has sap in it, so it will having a minor hazard to your AI, around 1 or 2 HP will be minus, and that's it. I think the safest food you can ever get for now is Ubi Badak, but still it costs you a lot. In terms of stamina and in terms of digging hours, you need to be careful about it. And in the future, I will introduce a new ticket that I'm going to work on, which is let me go back to milestone. You see here, we're going to introduce a very simple food, pucuk paku, featherhead fern. This one should be fast gathering food, and it kind of very low yield kind of calorie to the AI itself, because it's not heavy, it's not a carbohydrate like Ubi Gadong and also Ubi Badak, but it is a safest food in swamp area or in the river area. And that's it for my site today. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.